Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Take on Tottenham. My name is Ben, and this is my take on Tottenham. And full-time result in the Carabao Cup final: Manchester City 1, Tottenham 0. Were we shocked? Not really. I've got a lot to say, of course, but yeah, I think Spurs obviously went into the match as underdogs. Of course, they did. And it was a bit of a strange match. It was a lot of things that I expected and whatnot, but the scoreline, I think, doesn't really reflect on the game. But let's just get into it. So I'll have a rant towards the end. So first half, oh my God, the first half was absolutely dreadful. It was so bad in terms of Man City dominating for the first 15 minutes. I think Spurs had 1% of the possession in the Man City half, or in their final third, whatever. It was terrible. It was an absolute onslaught from Man City. They came out all guns blazing, and like I said, how the game was 1-0, I have no idea at all how we kept that at bay. Fullback areas, this really needs addressing in the summer. In terms of transfers and training to improve, I think our fullbacks today were absolutely exposed by Man City. And yeah, not every team will play up to the strengths that Man City did, but Aurier had a torrid time today. Absolutely torrid time. He was really struggling with Foden in particular today, really having a rough time. Reguilon as well, absolutely exposed again defensively. I thought was leaving so many gaps. Tackling wasn't there either, and I think especially De Bruyne was just like easy time against them. And it comes back to what I've been saying about Reguilon the last couple of weeks. Defensively has been abysmal, really not good. And to be honest, the way I described the first 20 minutes, as I've wrote it down here, it's like playing in FIFA when you're playing a Premier League, when you're playing as a Premier League team, and you're playing a lower league team in a cup match. You just want to absolutely put them to the sword, do like a 10-0, field your first team, and you literally attack. You just attack. They get the ball and you win it back immediately so you can go immediately on the attack. That's what this game was like. And Spurs were definitely the lower league team in that. Every time Spurs got the ball, they gave it away. Every single time they had the ball, they played it around the back, waiting for Man City to come at them and invite the pressure. And then, like I said, eventually give it away. And then Man City go on the attack again. It was just like that relentlessly. And it was embarrassing. The going backwards thing, as I've just said, every single time Spurs had the ball, they didn't look to go forwards. Harry Winks, Højbjerg would pick it up in midfield, and they looked to go. They looked to go instead of going forward. They looked backwards. They went back to Dyer. They went back to Alderweireld, and guess what? Then the pressure got invited. Man City pushed up, and put the pressure on. And guess what? Our defence is not that great. They've been terrible this season. So any time any pressure goes on them, they panic and either put the ball out, they give the ball straight away to the opposition, and it's just bad to watch. It was, and I hate to say this for Ryan Mason, because like I said, I am going to back him for the rest of the season, and I hope he has a good run in terms of it. But I really felt like it was a Jose performance today in terms of the substitutions we'll get into. But just in terms of the way the team was playing in regards to getting forward, or shall I say their lack of... can't even talk on that, man. The team lacked any direction going forward, is what I'm trying to say. I said Reguilon. Reguilon had a really questionable moment. It was very strange. Man City, attack. The ball, we had a really prime opportunity to hit them for the counter-attack. And Reguilon, the ball was going out like it was going to go for a throw. It wasn't going fast, but it was going towards the throwing line. And he sort of looked like he was getting ready to wind up for like the best pass of his career. And the ball kept getting closer to the line, and he kept like winding back like he's going to absolutely murder this football. And in the end, the ball went out for a throw-in. That summed it all up, really. I was so confused. And like I said, we were primed for a counter-attack, and it just ended up being a Man City throw-in. And then guess what? They went on the attack again. I think there was a moment where Dyer made a mistake. I think he gave the ball away. Can't remember who to. It might have been Sterling. I can't even remember. Sterling, Mahrez, De Bruyne, Foden. My God, they must have been rubbing their hands today. Dyer made the mistake, and Toby made an amazing block. I think he sort of slide tackled the ball onto the post, and it was a great block. But again, it was a mistake that we brought on ourselves. I've wrote Reguilon poor, just in general. I'm not making excuses here. I have to just be level. I'm going to level with it. They picked up on it in commentary. Both Man City centre backs made two, let's be honest, yellow card challenges and didn't get carded for them at all. Especially Laporte, who obviously went on to score. He made a yellow card challenge. Like he got a yellow card he got his first yellow card for a challenge that wasn't as bad as he got it for like literally tugging on Lucas's shirt and bringing him down. His challenge before that, when he should have been carded, was he just took him out, and that should have been a yellow. He not only stopped the break of play, but he took him out, and there was no card. He tugs on his shirt and brings him down a little bit, and it's a straight yellow for breaking up the play. And I'm kind of, where's the consistency? I did think Paul Turney didn't have a great game. I'm not making that up as an excuse. Man City fully deserved the win. But things like that annoy you, especially when that player has then gone on to score what turned out to be the winning goal. And then, I just thought that was a bit dodgy, to be honest. That was pretty much the first half. Complete and utter domination from City. And to be honest, my only credit for Spurs is somehow that they managed not to concede. I don't know how. Like I said, Toby pretty much was the best defender that we had. And he proved that. But the other three that were there, my God, they're so bad. The second half, they came out better. I believe it was part and parcel because City took their foot off the pedal. City came out in the second half not the same intensity that they had in that first half, where they were just peppering Spurs relentlessly. But Spurs grew into the game a bit. I think Lo Celso had a really good chance. Had a good save as well on that. I thought Sonny was so poor. And do you know what? You can't hide behind the season you've had. Yeah, he's had an amazing season, but the last 5-6 weeks he's been really, really bad. Really bad. Like, not offering anything in the games. Like, really, really. And I think we had this last season or the season before that, where the final third of the season or the final quarter of the season, he kind of just... performances just started to drop. But also he's a player that you don't really want to just put on the bench. But if we're basing it on performances, surely like someone else deserves a chance. I do think Sonny's been really poor this last 5 weeks. I know he scored a penalty the other night, but I just think he's not been the same player that we saw at the start of the season. And I'm not having a go at him as a whole. Like, he's a fantastic player, and I hope he signs a new long-term contract. Obviously, that's getting talked about in the summer, but I just think he really needs to improve. He gave the ball away so many times today. It was really, really poor. Even going forward, like in terms of, I feel like if that had been Sonny, the positions that he found himself in on the ball, just outside the area, I feel like earlier on in the season would have shot, would have scored, or troubled the keeper or something. Now, he didn't look confident. He didn't look like he always looking for the pass instead of looking at the goal and having a pop. And I don't know what's going on. And then there was a Højbjerg Reguilon mix-up. Spurs should have scored, and it was just diabolical. It was so bad. It was like watching Sunday League or something. Harry Kane made a run up the pitch, found Højbjerg. He had everyone on one side marking Sonny and Oreo, I believe, or Lo Celso. And Højbjerg was on his own on the left side, unmarked. Kane obviously threads it through to Højbjerg. Højbjerg's then got Reguilon running up the side, and you're thinking, oh my God, either just hit it or feed it early to Reguilon. One of those two. It's literally only two options. And what happens? Reguilon slows his run down. Højbjerg overhits the pass, and guess what? It goes out for a goal kick, and it's just shoddy, absolutely piss poor quality. Like Premier League footballers, and they couldn't even thread a simple pass together or have a pop at goal. What have you got to lose? I know we're afraid to take shots on goal. I know that compared to what Man City's 15, 16 attempts that they had, we had about 2 at that point. But I was just like, come on, it's simple football. It's what we've struggled with the most this season. It's simple football. It's not hard. It really isn't. And then the substitution, and this is where I brought in the Jose comment earlier. The substitution that makes me wish I wasn't into football. Moussa Sissoko coming on. Why? Why? You've got... I can't remember if Lamela was on the bench. I believe he probably was. I can't remember right now. But you had... I know Bale came on at the same time, but you had Bale, Dele, Ndombele. For me, those three stand... And Lamela. If Lamela's on there, 4. And Bergwijn. I know Bergwijn came on very late, almost too late to do anything. But I don't see the logic of bringing Sissoko on when you've got those players there. Those players are attacking-minded players. They are not afraid to shoot. And do you know what? If the ball falls to them, you'd rather it falls to them to have a shot. Moussa Sissoko, and look, me and Moussa Sissoko, like it's a personal thing. Spurs fans and Sissoko very up and down relationship. Started off very bad. Everyone wanted him sold. Had a little bit of a redemption arc towards the latter stages of Poch's time here. Was every single week on the team sheet. And even under Jose was performing really good, especially first half of this season when we had Højbjerg and Sissoko playing in front of the defence, and then Ndombele playing behind the striker. Fantastic. It worked, and Sissoko was performing great. But the second half of the season, he's been terrible. He's been coming on, not contributing. Coming on, making mistakes. Coming on, having shots that end up in row Z. If you're going to shoot, you don't want the ball to fall to Sissoko. And I don't understand why that substitution was made. And that's why I said it was like a Jose type decision that was from Mason. And it was really frustrating to see, because it was just like, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Like, it just baffles me, especially when the opportunity was there as well. I'm not saying we deserve to win at all, but the opportunity to cause an upset was there. With 10 minutes to go as well, and you sort of just think, what is Sissoko going to add to this team in terms of trying to find a winner? And then, obviously, was probably at fault for the goal conceded as well. I did write down, and I actually wrote this down before the goal was scored. Stupid foul by Aurier will probably concede. I wrote that down, and look what happened. A stupid foul by Aurier, completely unnecessary. You've got Raheem Sterling backed into the corner, not really got anywhere to go. And what does Aurier do? Bang, like that. Done. He's on the floor. They have the foul. And then what happened? They whip the ball in and they get the header and Laporte scores. But again, marking-wise, Sissoko completely away with the fairies. Not really tracking. Didn't really look like he had any idea where he was. And then all of a sudden, the only time that he actually realised Laporte was going for the header, he'd already gone past him and he'd headed the ball into the net. Completely unaware. And I'm like, why? Even if you got bought on for the one reason of solidifying the defence, that's happened. So why? Why was that substitution made? I really don't know. And then, again, enough, like I said, this isn't just a thing recently. This has been the problem with Jose's season, really. Shambolic in terms of going forward. And I say that in terms of chasing the game. We're 1-0 down in a cup final. And I find this team passing it backwards and doing what they were doing in the first half. Passing it, it starts in midfield. Instead of going up, moving forward, Bale, Kane, Sonny, we're going backwards. We're not passing it to them. We're passing it back to Sissoko. Or we're passing it back to Dyer or Alderweireld. And then guess what? They're passing it back to Lloris. And then Lloris has to lump it upfield. And guess what? It fell back into Man City possession. And then guess what? Man City went on the attack. Literally, injury time. You know, you're 1-0 down in a cup final. Commitment forward. What have you got to lose? What have you got to lose? And instead, it's Man City are pressing men forward. They're pushing men forward and going for a second. That's not how it should be. That is not how it should be. I don't understand. Like, I don't even care if we would have lost 2-0 at the end because they hit us on the counter-attack. At least we could say that we were going for it. But I saw a team that just did not even look like they wanted to even really go for the equaliser. They looked like they were just beat and they looked like defeated and like they were just going, oh, well, we're going to lose anyway. So, you know, like... And like I said, Sonny got the ball, passing it back. Kane looked probably the best player because he looked like he was trying. But even for Kane, it wasn't falling today. And I don't even know if I'd pick a man of the match. Do you know what? Lloris or Toby gets man of the match. Lloris made some amazing saves that kept us down to single-figure scoreline. And Toby Alderweireld as well, making some really, really key tackles as well. I think they both share the man of the match. If you want to give them a man of the match, I thought they were absolutely diabolical today. And like I said, it was just a very Jose type performance, not only from the team but from the manager as well. And like I said, I back Mason and I want him to do really well. I want him to, you know, go out on a high, even if it's for a brief stint at the end here. But my God, that was a poor setup today. Bringing it, and this is what I mean in terms of Jose. It was like bringing Dele Alli on with like 10 minutes left, bringing Bergwijn on pretty much in injury time. It just screamed like, oh crap, panic, throw some subs on, and it was just like, oh. And then also, like I said, Sissoko coming on as well. I just thought that it was a poor setup from the team. Ndombele not even getting any game time was criminal, in my opinion. I think, you know, he's been such an important player this season, and I felt we needed something like that. We needed someone to link up the defence to the attack because no one was capable of doing that today. Højbjerg had a shocking game, I thought, and it was just so bad. It was so bad. And again, the weight goes on now. That's another trophy gone, another final lost. The wait gets extended now to next season, and questions need to be answered. And I'm not on about Ryan Mason. I'm on about the hierarchy. People have their opinions of him over the Super League, and trust me, I agree with every single one of them that this board needs to resign. Daniel Levy needs to resign just over the Super League stuff alone. But questions need to be asked now about where this team is going. This next managerial appointment needs to be right. And as I personally would like to see Nagelsmann come in, but it needs to be right. And they cannot get this appointment wrong. They cannot. Daniel Levy, Joe Lewis, their legacy's tarnished anyway because of the Super League stuff. But what success have they shown? I'm sorry, you cannot call the stadium a success. You built it for Champions League football, but you're not willing to create a team that will even get us in the Champions League. Because we're not going to get into the Champions League. We're just not. It would be a miracle if it happens. And the one constant, managers have come and gone. The same problems are there, you know, and the same consistent thing that's been there through all the managers and all the players has been Daniel Levy and Joe Lewis at the top. And for me, they're the biggest problem. But like I said, they need to get this appointment right. They need to get this spot on. And this club needs a trophy. It really does. It's almost laughable how overdue it is. So they need to deliver or sod off. I don't really care. One of the two. But it's just a joke, man. I just think I think the team the only thing I commend the team on today is some form of how resolute the defence was. Somehow they survived the onslaught and only kept this at 1-0, because it shouldn't have been 1-0. Let's be honest, it should have been 3 or 4, if not 5. It was embarrassing to watch. I thought, again, for a final, I felt like the team choked in terms of showing up, because I just felt like they didn't show up. Big players didn't show up, and the mentality in the team is backwards. And like I said, just players here in this club that just need to go as well. Like, and I'm not saying that in reactionary to this thing. I'm saying it as in these players have been here too long and maybe got too comfortable, and I just feel like they need to leave. Players like Sissoko, even players like Lamella and things that have just been here a bit too long, and we just need a bit of a refresh. Aurier, I think, is another one who needs to probably go. I think Reguilon needs to improve drastically next season in his defensive capabilities. Like, there's some serious issues that have arose over his defensive qualities in the past 2 months, 3 months now. Also, once again, going down like a lead brick, when he's been touched, which is embarrassing as well. Harry Winks as well, I thought, had quite a poor game today, which, I don't really think he really contributed, even to the point that I actually forgot he was playing in a way. Eric Dyer, another one I feel needs to probably move on this summer. Just need a massive rebuild, a massive clear out, a massive rebuild in this team, a mentality shift, and we need to just rebuild from the ground up, because it's getting a bit frustrating every season, coming short, and things need to be sorted now, because the fans are fed up of it. So I'm really sorry to be on a rant, but I'm really annoyed at that performance. I'm annoyed at the decisions, the setup and everything, and just the lack of. It's almost like the lack of confidence, the lack of ambition to even try and win that game. They just looked like they weren't even interested. So I'm really sorry to rant about that. I can't even remember who our next game is against. So I'll see you guys in whenever that video is, probably very soon. Please hit the subscribe button, leave me a like, leave me a comment, whatever, and the wait goes on as it always does. So I'll see you guys in the next video, and as always, come on you Spurs.